Hello and welcome back again to the Vintage Podcast, where today we'll be sitting down with Joe Howe, who's another one of the team members who you might find in Antrim if you're coming into the shop to visit. If you're enjoying the show so far, don't forget to check out the links in the descriptions, and don't forget to follow us on all the different platforms that you can find us on via those same links down below. On with the show. Okay, so we're back with Joe again, and we met him in the Spirits 101 or the Whiskey 101 episode a while back. What we're going to do today is just go through who you are and what you are with the business, and what people can expect if they come in and essentially run into you if you're behind the counter. So you said before it's kind of, you've hit your fourth year now.
Yes, just.
What was the kind of story of you getting involved and what brought you here and stuff like that?
Yeah, so not to make it too long, but I kind of started in the alcohol industry when I was at university in England. Started off as a glass collector in a bar. As you can imagine, hated every minute of it. But watching the bartenders and stuff work, I really enjoyed watching that. So eventually moved on to getting a couple of bar jobs. Then moved to a sports bar, which my passion really grew from there.
Okay.
That's when I started talking to reps and stuff like that. Started to do a couple like orders and stuff, so I started to make decisions on ones that I liked and stuff, and watching them sell behind the bar really drove that to be something that I really wanted to turn into a career, not something that was just a job while I was at uni. COVID happened, like everyone else, didn't know what I was doing. Moved back to Northern Ireland, moved back to Antrim, got a job at a local bar. It got to a point where it's just, I loved the industry and loved what I was doing with alcohol and those sorts of things, but the bar hours just wasn't for me anymore. Getting home 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, it's just not fun. Just didn't enjoy it anymore. So job came up in the Vintage. I saw it as a great opportunity to learn not just about spirits, which I was really forward on, making cocktails and stuff like that in the bars, but to learn about wine and to really grow my knowledge generally about alcohol. Started off as part-time, like I said in the other episode I was in, and just kind of my role just kind of grew from there, doing different things. And
what would you say about how your knowledge has grown in that time?
I'd say I definitely learned bits and bobs in previous jobs and stuff, but I think the way we learn here has really accelerated that process. We do go to a lot of tastings and stuff, and then we do in-store tastings and stuff like that. We host tastings, as has been mentioned, and I think it really has made it a little bit easier to learn, because you have a lot more, I don't want to say a lot more time, but you do definitely have
you're maybe not under the constant pressure of people leaning over the bar. I get that.
And
that makes sense.
Because it's a lot more of I'd say a peaceful environment. You have those conversations with people. Like I'd say I've learned just as much from talking to customers about their experiences with different things than I have done from other channels. So like being able to have those conversations and learning what they like, and then going out and trying them myself has really helped me as well. So it's good to hear back from our customers.
And create it helps develop a little bit of a community, which again I can imagine being difficult to do in a bar, because it's a little bit more hectic and constantly in flux with people going back and forward. I get that. When you say about having attended events, I know that we've been to one since I joined here, but are there any that stood out to you particularly as highlights, or
I think just the events that we go, a lot of the wine events that we go to, that are kind of like you go and there's a lot of the producers there, and you can have conversations with different people
themselves.
Is really, I think they're the best, because to be honest, when you do them events, you don't retain everything. There's no one in the world that'll be able to retain everything, but you just get little nuggets of information that you can bring back, and they're just they're random little things that really do help. But I'd say any of those sorts of ideas, I think generally work the best. We have been to a few smaller ones and stuff like that, but anything where there's a few different things, because you can compare and contrast as well if you've got a few different things. Whereas if you're going to an event and there's only 2 or 3 things, it's kind of you have that in your mind, but then you're like, is that as good as that? And you try the other one a few days later, but it's not as fresh, if that makes sense. So I think there's a couple we've been to in like the Merchant and stuff like that, where they do have a variety of things to try. To compare and contrast. I think that's definitely
whenever it comes to then using that knowledge in the sales environment that we have, is there or are there things that you're almost buzzing to be asked about, or are there things that you try and you're maybe not so keen on, or in terms of preference maybe?
Like I say about, like, you pick up little bits of information, so it's always good to tell people those things. I listen to other podcasts as well, and like I hear from like you listen to them and they're talking to different producers and stuff, and like I take an example of like Gosling Black Seal rum, learning why it's called that, and it's nothing to do with the animal.
Right.
It's really interesting to hear that, and whenever someone is willing to listen to that and have a bit of a conversation, it doesn't necessarily have to be about a certain product or a certain bit of information, but just to have that little bit of knowledge, or hearing that knowledge from someone else, it's always really, really good to hear. So there's no specific item, no specific genre, I suppose. It's just like having that conversation, rather than just come in, can I have X bottle and leave again? And like having that conversation is always good. Yeah.
That's why I find anyone who in that retail environment doesn't ask the question. You'll see people come in, walk around and go straight back out without, and it's almost you get that kind of we could have helped you find something. Yeah, well, we always want to help. We really do. Outside the idea of you have to work for the business, and the business has to do well. It's that you almost want to get the satisfaction of knowing that someone's left with something that they'll enjoy. I think the greatest pleasure of working in this job is whenever you recommend something that you really like, and that customer comes back and buys another bottle of it. That is one of the greatest things. There was so many in December where you would recommend, and it was generally the Perdido Tempranillo from Spain. Where you would recommend one person and they would come back and buy a case. It was ridiculous at times. You get that quite a lot. It is quite satisfying because you start to believe in your own opinion a little bit, which it's a little pat on the back. It is, and you don't in the not the normal world, but you don't in normal situations get that chance to sort of go, oh, I maybe do know just a little bit to help someone, which is nice. So I do like that. And is there anything that we have coming up that you're particularly excited about, or I know that it'll be a couple of weeks from right now that this will appear, but is there anything you're sort of keen to so there's a few tastings that we have coming up. They may have been and gone at this point. So the Spanish one I think will have come and gone by the time this appears, but do you have any others in mind? There's I'm not sure if it's full cocktails, but it's with Symphonia, who make rum and gin. Really excited for that one. That one's coming up. Said in the whiskey one, we're looking at one with a bourbon distiller, hoping, and by the time this comes out we have that in place. So that would be really exciting. We have something special for we're turning 50 this year. We have something special in the pipelines for that, so I would recommend everyone keep an eye out for that. At this point in time we can't release any information about what we're doing, but we can say that again, like with everything else, we have the email address that you can sign up for. If anything is to be announced about anything big like that, that'll be where it's from. So again, like always, I'll have that information for you. So there are some pretty big things coming, and I'm sure because of where you sit within the business, you get a lot of involvement on that. So there's probably going to be quite a lot of satisfaction to come, which is nice. It would be good to see those things. Just happen. To kind of because we're getting to know everybody individually. Just before we close this one off, how would you kind of pin down what you do, or what does a day look like generally? Because I know it can be similar across, but different in different ways for everybody. It's a weird one for me because I do a lot of the shop work like everyone else does. That's my main role at the end of the day. But I do a fair amount of back office stuff as well. So a lot of putting products on the website, putting it on the till system and stuff like that. A bit of admin on that side. A
a lot of the graphics, still graphics and stuff that you see on social media and stuff like that. That's my responsibility to do all that, and then obviously social media as a whole, pictures and all that sort of stuff as well. So, I don't really have a regular day, which I quite like. It does change daily, weekly. It's never the same job. Some people ask me what I do, and like I'm a cleaner, I'm a sales assistant, graphic design. I do a lot.
It's a wide range.
But it's not overwhelming in any way. It's a good amount of stuff. It always keeps me busy, and that's why. I
think the fact that most people give similar answers to that question, and the fact that we all have some involvement in most things brings you. It helps you function better as a team almost. I find, because then there's no one who has the sole responsibility of a certain thing. And it also makes the stuff like, say, you mentioned cleaning, it makes that a bit easier because you're not being left with it.
There's we'll all chip in. Like I'm up this morning, but someone's going to do it. Someone else will do it tomorrow. Someone else will do it the next day. That we all do help each other out, and we all do different bits, which is really good.
It's nice. Before we do close this one, is there anything you want to tell anybody or say about that you, or recommend anything, or just quickly, you don't have to?
Nothing in particular, but I'm always here for recommendations. Wine, whiskey, I taste them all, so I can help you out with any. I'd like, especially at Christmas time, it's always good fun that you talk to one customer and you recommend a vodka, then you recommend them 6 craft beers, and you recommend them 6 bottles of wine. I like to try and think I can help you out with a bit of everything. So
excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It was good to kind of get that little bit more info on where you sit within everything, and it's quite exciting to have that idea of being able to go through everybody. So we've covered 2 people so far, and we'll keep going from here. But thank you very much, and to everybody else, we'll see you again next time. Thanks so much for listening to the Vintage Podcast. Everything on this show is produced in-house, including the music. If there's anything you'd like to ask us, or if you'd like to pose a question for a future episode, check out the links in the description, where you'll be able to find contact forms, email addresses, and social media links, as well as links to any of the products that we've mentioned on the show. If you want to follow us just to keep up to date with episodes, you should be able to do so on most major podcast platforms. And if you want to ask us about anything, we're always here to talk. Please don't forget to follow the show, and we look forward to hearing from you in the near future. Thanks.